Phyllis. I'm glad you came to see me today. So you might know that Mrs. Nishimoto referred you to my office. She said that you've been feeling a little down lately and she was a little bit worried about you. So she wanted to know if I could talk to you a little bit. Is that okay?
Okay.
Before we talk, I just want to remind you about confidentiality. We've talked about this before, but as a reminder, everything you say in my office is kept confidential, just between you and me. I don't share that with the teachers. I don't share that with the principal. I don't even share it with your parents, except in 3 situations. Those 3 situations are if you tell me something that I believe indicates that you are thinking of harming yourself, that you're thinking of harming someone else, or that someone is harming you. In those 3 cases, I am required to break confidentiality and get you the help you need. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, great. So I care about you. I've known you for a few years now, and it's my job as a counselor to make sure that my students are safe. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. They're just 4 questions, and there's no right or wrong answers. You're not in trouble. I just want to remind you of that. But I talk to kids about a lot of things that can make them feel uncomfortable. And it's really important that you're honest with me when you answer these questions so that we can make sure that you have a plan in place to keep yourself safe. Okay? So do you want to work with me to fill out this form and then we'll move on?
Yeah, okay. Do you fill it out or I do?
If you don't mind, I'll read you the questions and you can tell me the answers. Okay. So the first question is, have you ever thought about or tried to kill yourself? So your answers would be never, yeah, but it was just a brief passing thought. I have had a plan at least once to kill myself, but did not try to do it. I have had a plan to at least once to kill myself, and I really did want to die. I have attempted to kill myself, but didn't really want to die. And I have attempted to kill myself, and I really wanted to die.
Could you say the last 3 again?
The last 3, so we have, I have had a plan at least once to kill myself and really wanted to die. I have attempted to kill myself, but I didn't want to die. And I have attempted to kill myself and I really did want to die.
The middle one.
The middle one, I have attempted to kill myself, but I really didn't want to die.
Yes.
Okay, great. Second question. How many times have you thought about killing yourself? Never, rarely, like just once, sometimes, which is like maybe a couple of times, often, maybe 3 or 4 times, and very often, which is 5 or more times.
Well, obviously it's been at least 1 time, but I don't know. That's a hard one. I'm sorry, could you give those to me one more time?
Sure. Never, 1 time, 2 times, 3 or 4 times.
Probably 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times? Okay. Have you ever told someone that you were going to kill yourself? No. Yes, 1 time, but I didn't really want to die. Yes, 1 time, and I did want to die. Yes, more than once, but I didn't want to die. And yes, more than once, and I really wanted to die.
These are hard questions.
They are hard questions.
I don't think I told anyone I wanted to die, but
So-
I did want to die.
Okay, but you never told
But not
anyone.
really, but I guess not really.
Okay.
So no, I didn't tell anyone until after.
Oh, okay. So you talked to somebody about it afterwards. Well, let's talk more about that. Let's finish the last question first. Do you think that you might kill yourself someday? Never. No chance at all. Rather unlikely. Unlikely. Likely. Rather likely, or very likely.
I don't think I will. I think I had pretty good intervention.
So no chance at all, or
I hope not.
okay. I hope so too.
I hope I don't go there again.
Okay, let's go back over a couple of your questions. The first one was, have you ever thought about or tried to kill yourself? And you said that you have attempted to kill yourself, but you didn't really want to die. When did this happen?
A A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, so maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, summer 2 years ago.
And you were a freshman, a sophomore?
A sophomore.
A sophomore then. Okay. And what were the circumstances?
In terms of what brought me there, or just how I tried to do it?
Both.
I waited till my parents were going to be away for a weekend. And that's the weekend I planned to kill myself. So I had it planned.
You did have a plan. And question number 3. No, that's okay. You were fine on there. Okay. Okay. So it looks like at one point in your past that you did that you did have in mind to try and kill yourself, but you didn't follow through with it.
No, I didn't.
I'm glad you're here today talking to me about
Me
it.
too.
Are you currently seeing a therapist?
Not right now, because I feel like my parents had a really good intervention, and then I did go to a therapist.
Good.
And we took, actions that assisted me to get happier.
Good. And so that was going to be my next question. So your parents did know about the attempt.
When they got home, I told them.
Good. I'm glad you have a relationship with your parents that allows you guys to be open with one another.
I told my friend first, though.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. What I'd like to do with you now is to create a safety plan because, Mrs. Nishimoto said you seem to be a little down lately, and we don't want you in a position where you might feel that you have to kill yourself because of a situation you're in. So what I'd like to do is to create a safety plan with you that you can refer to remind you, we'll go over it together, okay? And and if you have questions, you can definitely ask them. So when we're developing this safety plan,
Can I go blow my nose?
you can go blow your nose. I'm sorry, I should have had Kleenex here for you, hon.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Didn't
Take
know
all
I'd
the time you
cry.
need.
It's
So
emotional.
when you're feeling bad, what are some of the things that trigger those feelings for you?
You mean feelings to kill myself?
Yeah. Or just feeling negative thoughts. What are some of the things that happen that cause you to have those negative thoughts?
Well, I haven't had those negative thoughts since then.
Okay, good.
And, my being a little down is, high school life. A lot
Yeah.
of pressures.
The social
Social
pressures.
But I'm not to that point to want to kill myself. But
Are there specific social pressures? Are people, for example, bullying you or trying to get you to do things you don't want to do? Or
yeah, I think
just-
that's just the nature of high school and mean people.
mean people? So when people are mean to you, that brings on a negative feeling for you.
Yeah, but that wasn't the reason for my attempt, it was part of it, but anyway.
You want to tell me more about that? Because maybe we can find a trigger there as well.
Well, I don't know if I really even understand why I was there, to be honest. A lot of depression, and social pressures, and I don't know. And not always having the communication with my family that I do now. That's why it's different now. So it's hard to kind of go back and think about these things. But that's why when I said I talked to my friend first, and she had me talk to my parents, which was really wonderful. I hadn't talked to them like that.
Sounds like
before.
you have a real solid friend.
Yeah,
Good.
It's pretty awesome.
So when you are feeling overwhelmed with problems and you have negative thoughts, what are some coping skills that you've used in the past that have been successful, or what have you done to be able to distract yourself from those thoughts?
I have to remind myself that I'm worthy, and the inputs that are causing me to be
So positive self-talk.
positive self-talk.
Awesome. How about exercise? Exercise is a great way to burn off,
Yeah, it is, and that's another avenue. If I'm happy with my body.
Yeah, because I know you're an athlete in this school, so yeah.
But I also struggled with I've struggled with my body, so that's also
Self-image.
Self-image, thank you.
Yeah, and that problem is common among students your age. So I don't want you to feel like you're alone in that. What kind of social settings might provide you with an outlet or a means of a temporary escape?
Outdoors.
Outdoors.
Not in school. Anything away from school. But yeah.
Any particular people who you see as your support network?
Well, now is my family and my close inner circle friend. I would say friend, not friends. There's only one person I really trusted with this information.
One friend, and may I ask that friend's name?
Heather.
Heather. So if you felt like you were in a position again where you were having negative thoughts, then you would feel free to call on your parents or Heather to kind of, talk to you.
I'd call Heather first so I don't freak out my parents again, but yes.
Good. And how's Heather feel about that? Is she happy to be your inner circle support network?
She asked me to be her first line of defense or something like that, to call her first.
Oh.
Anytime I'm thinking, negative thoughts to the point of suicide again. So when I tell her I'm unhappy, I call her when I'm down and depressed.
Good.
And,
and she kind of talks you out of those feelings. Wow.
Well, again, I haven't had those feelings for a while, but I call her when I'm down and
just
depressed.
About everyday things. Good for you.
Yeah,
we don't want to keep those feelings bottled in. That just kind of leads to further problems. It's good you have someone that you can talk with. I've also indicated on this safety plan some professional organizations that you could call if you ever needed to, if Heather or your family weren't available. Okay. We have crisis lines listed here, both in Hawaii and nationally, that you can access. So I want to make sure you have that information. And what kind of environment do you think you might need to avoid just so that nothing bad happens? For example, are there harmful objects in your home that you could use?
There's harmful objects anywhere.
There are.
You can find things.
Yeah.
But I guess making sure there's no prescription medicines that are toxic at certain doses, which is what I tried to do.
Are there normally some prescription meds, like your parents have prescription
meds? My mom
meds?
has bad back, so
okay.
I got into her medicine.
Do you think maybe you could talk to your mom about putting those in a safe place?
She did.
Good. Okay, great.
Can't get to them now. They're locked.
Oh, good. Okay, and my last part of the safety plan here is, what is one thing that motivates you to get up in the morning and keep going every day? Something that you care about or love, that just when you think about that thing, that gives you all the reason in the world to keep on going.
Well, maybe twofold. The first thing that came to my mind was my dog. But the other is I don't want to hurt my parents.
Oh. You love your parents a lot.
I must, because I'm crying.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a good relationship with them.
Well, now.
Yeah.
But maybe not then. Not at all.
That's okay. That's a normal adolescent thing.
It kind of
Yeah.
brought us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It sounds like you were struggling in the past, and um, you found some ways to deal with those struggles.
Mhm.
And I want to remind you that everyone has down days. Yeah.
Yes. I do.
And so it's important that when you have those down days like today, that you do seek out help and talk to someone that you feel comfortable with. So I'm glad you came in here today to talk to me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to remind you again that everything that we talked about today was confidential. I don't see any reason that I need to break confidentiality today. But again, if anything happens in the future, feel free to come into my office, okay?
Okay, I will.
Okay, let's get back to class.
All right.
Okay, bye, hon.
Do I have to